Welcome into AZ Audibles. I'm Haley Stasiak with the Audibles crew, Eric Sorensen and Jordan Ham. With graduation right around the corner, we're going to highlight some guys that are moving on to the next level. Eric, take it away.
Really enjoy getting to know Max Michalczyk this past year. Do everything player down at Catalina Foothills in Tucson. 4-year varsity performer. He's going to be going to NAU next year. Defensively last year, he was a big-time difference maker for Foothills. They went all the way to the 4A state championship game. His dad, Jim Michalczyk, is on Rich Rod's staff at U of A.
I got to know Corey Stevens out of Saguaro really well during his junior year. He's a great kid, very high character that was noticed by Todd Graham. He got the Todd Graham Scholarship, which is awarded to a guy in the recruiting class that has very high character. He's going to ASU on full scholarship. He'll be studying business in the Honors College. He was solid up front for the SaberCats. I'm looking forward to seeing how he develops and adjusts at the college level, and I'm excited to see what he'll bring to the Sun Devils.
Just another one of those dominant guys up front for the Cats. Really, really good in the past, the present, and I'm sure in the future as well.
Absolutely. For me, it's Odawa Isabor over at St. Mary's. This is a guy who's headed to UCLA, has all the talent in the world, filled up the stat sheet, 110 tackles last year, 13 tackles for loss, 9 sacks, and this is a guy that hasn't played football for that long, but when you really get to know him, you learn that he's very highly academic, obviously, if he's heading to UCLA. He just wants to help people, so he wants to go into the medical field, and he doesn't know what, but he knows that he wants to help people, and I think that he's going to be a guy that you will be hearing consistently about on Saturdays. A few years from now, he's going to be paired up with Jalen Phillips, the top defensive end from this class, and it's just going to be really cool to see him grow in his new role.
Moving from the past to the present, let's talk dynamic duos.
I was over at Higley last week, and they have quite a duo in the backfield. Drayson Hall, seems like we talk about him every week, and then James Maggio. This is a guy that transferred in last year, so he only played 8 games with the Knights, but they feel that they can be the fastest backfield in the entire state, and they're actually going to be revamping their offense. They're going to have dual running backs in the backfield, so it's going to be Hall, it's going to be Maggio, and Coach Zuby was talking to me about in track, Drayson Hall ran like a 10.76 100-yard dash. He feels that Maggio can run a 10.77. So they feel like this can be just a couple of burners in the backfield for the Knights, and they're just going to be loaded on offense.
Good luck to those defensive coordinators trying to scheme against Higley's offense.
Exactly. It's basically now 2 Drayson Hall-like players in the backfield for them.
Speaking of kind of a dangerous situation, out at Chandler, Jarrett Caldwell and Gunnar Romney are both going to be seniors. Caldwell is a wide receiver, but he could transfer to tight end. He's bulked up in the offseason. He had 484 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns in 2016. Romney is primarily wide receiver. He had 1,300 receiving yards in 2016. This is going to be one of the more seasoned receiving core of Chandler's era, and both have great rapport with junior quarterback Jake Conover.
And both were at the opening in Oakland this past weekend, and Gunnar Romney actually won the MVP for wide receivers. So some of the best along the West Coast, and he really showed up.
You guys highlighted a couple schools and offenses in the East Valley. Let's flip the script a little bit and go to the West Valley and talk about Desert Edge's defense. They lost quite a few players offensively, but Jose Lucero, their new old head coach, I guess you could say, has Nasir Sims, a 6'3", 285-pound defensive tackle, and Milton Rogers, a playmaking linebacker. Combined, those two guys had probably close to 170 tackles and 9 sacks. If Edge is going to keep performing at the high level that they're used to, those guys are going to have big junior seasons.
And those guys had dominant performances. They're sophomores. So they
crazy.
have 2 more years to continue to grow and flourish in that defense.
That'll be exciting. That's what we've got for you this week on AZ Audibles. Be sure to check out Eric's Zone Read and more of our high school football content on sports360az.com. We'll see you next week.